Hello, I'm here to do another video, and today I'm going to talk about non-fiction books. I've never really read many non-fiction books, apart from when I was at university studying for my degree. I ended up reading a couple last year just by chance, one of them through the book club we had at work, and enjoyed it. And recently I've seen a lot of reviews for non-fiction books, which I really like the sound of. I decided that this year I want to try reading about 6 non-fiction books over the course of the year. And luckily I actually have quite a few to start me off with. The first one, I actually have a proof copy of this, and it is Fragile Lives by Dr. Stephen Westerby. I included this book in a book haul a few weeks ago. It is about a man who is a heart surgeon, and just the stories that he encounters through his work. It's been compared to When Breath Becomes Air, and a book called Do No Harm. I am aware of Breath Becomes Air. I've not read it, but I really want to, whereas the other one I'm not sure about. But I really like the sound of this, and this is probably going to be the first non-fiction book that I read this year. I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into that one. The second book that I have on my shelves that I'm going to try and read as part of this challenge is Scrappy Little Nobody by Anna Kendrick. If you are a fan of Pitch Perfect, you may recognise her from that. She plays the main character, and this is her autobiography. I got this recently from one of my friends as a gift, and I really like the sound of it, so again I'm going to be dipping into that one. The third book that I have on my shelves that is non-fiction that I might include in the challenge is called The Tyrant Ribbon, In Search of Alexander Gardner. This book I got through work. We have a partnership there with a publisher called Kashi House, who are an Indian publisher, and this is one of their lead spring titles. I was also lucky enough to meet the author, John Kay, who is a historian. He's written a lot of non-fiction books, a lot of them about India. So this is it's a biography of a man called Alexander Gardner, who fought in India when it was still under native rule. He wore tartan a lot around there and really confused people. He was one of the first people to go exploring lots of Central Asia, so I think it's going to be a really interesting book. Another book which I got recently and I'm planning on reading this year as part of my non-fiction challenge is SPQR by Mary Beard. If you don't know, I studied ancient history at Edinburgh University, so I already know a lot about the subject, and therefore I think it's going to be really interesting to see what information Mary Beard has included in this and kind of how she goes about the book. This book is covering 1,000 years of ancient Roman history. It's a fairly thick book, but not that thick to cover 1,000 years of history, so I'm really interested to see how Mary Beard goes about doing that. I think this might be a book that I dip in and out of and read a little bit at a time rather than reading it all through at once. But yes, that is going in I've been wanting to read it since it came out in hardback, and one of my friends had the paperback and he has read it, and was kind enough to pass it on to me. So I'm definitely going to get to that one as part of my non-fiction challenge. The final book that I have on my shelves already, and hopefully can get to this year as part of my 6 books, is called Ghost Empire by Richard Fidler. This is actually published by an Australian publisher called ABC Books. I'm not sure if it is coming to the UK or not. I think so, but I don't know the details. And this is another history-related book. It is about the story of the city of Constantinople. I actually didn't realise until I was looking through my shelves before filming this video that this was non-fiction. I thought it was fiction set in there, which goes to show how little I had read of the blood before I decided to pick it up. It's about a guy. The guy who wrote it has always been interested in the history of Constantinople, Istanbul, as it is now called, and he wanted to pass on that interest and passion to his son. So they took a trip in 2014, and this is stories of their experience in the city and overlaid with the history of the city. I think it sounds really interesting. I've always been intrigued by that area of the world, and the city itself, so I'm really looking forward to getting into this one. that is 5 books already, so I'm not sure if I'll end up exceeding my hopes for the challenge of doing 6 books in the year, or if I will end up picking up other non-fiction books later in the year that takes the place of some of these, or that get read as well. If you have recommendations of non-fiction books that I should pick up as part of this challenge, please leave them in the comments. I'd love to hear your suggestions. Or if you've read any of these already, I'd love to hear what you thought of them. Just let me know what you think of them. I'm hopefully going to get stuck into one of these really soon, and I will, of course, let you know what I think. Talk to you soon. Bye!